Niners signed Logan Ryan, and right away you're like, I don't really know what to make of this. Maybe he won't factor in, but then you realize he's a vet. He's moving across the country. He doesn't have to do this. He has plenty of money. I think all of a sudden, all eyes go to the rookie, Ji'Ayir Brown, who wasn't really supposed to be in this position. It was supposed to be Talanoa. Now this is a Super Bowl contending team, and all I know is Ji'Ayir Brown missed a couple tackles in this last game, had a couple coverage busts, a couple moments where he wasn't where he's supposed to be or wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, and now Logan Ryan's here. And I don't know, maybe the Niners, you know how they are with young players, they get nervous. I wonder, what are you seeing from Ji'Ayir Brown? Should they be nervous? Should they hedge their bets here, or is he ready to go for this stretch run?
Well, Ji'Ayir Brown is game. Okay, he's got heart. I don't want to disparage the young man, and he eagerly wants to play. So that much is there. He's heady. I don't necessarily see him in bad positions on the field, but he loses himself at times trying to watch what is happening instead of reacting. He's not reacting as fast. And that says that there might be a little bit of a gap in knowledge. And that's not necessarily knowledge in from a mental capacity, but knowledge from muscle memory, knowing about angles and gaps, feeling out the game speed of the NFL. Those are all true things that take a while. And you got to play some reps on a consistent basis for you to even calibrate that out. And also, I feel as though that Coach Wilkes probably loved that they were able to get him on the field so they can get some real fresh tape on him, right? Practice film after a while just kind of gets old, still rehashing over the same old things that you're messing up at. But seeing a live body can change some things, right? Now, let's get to what's clear off the bat. He doesn't have his man body yet. He's a little too small. He plays way more physical than his body will lend him, if that makes sense. So you see him trying to come down and deliver blows. He's not afraid to be there. He's the first to the party when it comes to gang tackling or exactly tackling his man. But he just doesn't get guys on the ground. He's not wrapping up. Those are some technique things that he can fix. But you can see that he continuously does that because he does not trust his technique, right? On one hand, you can say, hey, man, this is a little bit of a habit that you have where when you're coming down on ball carriers, you're running into them. You're not necessarily tackling them. You coach that up and then you can fix it. But then you start realizing when they're doing it off of muscle memory, it's something that they've almost injected into their play style as a coping mechanism or as a crutch, right? So he's hitting like that and he's missing tackles because he doesn't trust the fact that I can open up my chest, drive through, and get a man to the ground. And he's missing tackles as a result of it. Early on in the game, AJ Brown ran right through him in a tackle. There was another time where Devontae Smith caught a third down. I think it was a third down bubble, a screen pass. Devontae Smith caught that thing and ran right over Ji'Ayir Brown's ass. And that just goes to show you the difference, right? This is one of Devontae Smith is all heart, but one thing that we know is that he's not necessarily an imposing frame or a body, right? And the fact that showed you just a small piece of what the NFL has to show you with ball carriers who know the strength of the game and the physicality of the game. And that's some of the things where you can see why we didn't see him right away, where the game may be a little too big for him. Now, Logan Ryan, I don't know if Logan Ryan is actually going to come in and play safety for us, but he is a voice in the room. Okay. He is somebody that can give us more added depth. And honestly, I think it's something that isn't really an answer for Ji'Ayir Brown. But if you remember, they were kicking the tires on Jason Verrett earlier, and I don't think that panned out. So I feel as though that they're still trying to figure out that role of that veteran guy who can still come in at nickel if they need to. Yeah. Or or come in or get put on the outside. So I don't see it as a Ji'Ayir Brown contingency plan. I see it more as a continuation of what they didn't get done with Jason Verrett. They want another veteran guy there.
Yeah. Well, look, if they feel a little shaky about Ji'Ayir Brown, they're not going to let potentially Patrick Mahomes exploit him in the Super Bowl, or Mike McDaniel and Tua and Tyreek Hill. Like, there are reasons to be kind of concerned about the back end of your defense. Maybe not right now, but down the line. So, Logan Ryan won't be ready for a while. Ji'Ayir Brown isn't getting benched anytime soon. Logan Ryan doesn't even know the defense. But if he keeps missing tackles, blowing coverages, and they feel like he's just not ready for a Super Bowl. If you remember, in the Super Bowl, they lost because Emmanuel Mosley had a breakdown. Tavarius Moore had a breakdown. There were some DBs who weren't quite ready for the moment, who faltered. And if that's Ji'Ayir Brown, then bring in a vet. Also, Richard Sherman did too.
Yeah, also, and then, you got to look at, you could tell that they're worried about, if they're thinking long term, which they should be. They're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. But you could tell that they're thinking like, man, all right, if it all does go down, I feel like they have the guys on their offensive line where they're like, okay, we got John Feliciano, we got Il Manning in the back, we got Jaylen Brown and Matt Pryor, right? We got these guys, okay? On defensive line, we fixed that issue. We're deep, okay? The only thing about us is that if we get injured, we'll regress to what we were, but at least we'll still be competent near the end of the season. Corner, we got these guys finally playing good, but I think losing Huff kind of woke them up to, what are we really going to do at safety? Like, if we lose Gipp at safety, then we're completely compromised on the back end. We don't have anybody that's a huge fall off, right? True. So for them, I feel as though that they got quarterback. Yeah. They got quarterback sewed up. Yeah. Receiver, running back, good. That's why we haven't seen JP Mason. They're using him sparingly. They're preparing for the long haul. Now we
might see JP Mason now. Because Elijah Mason's got a sore knee, so we might actually see a fresh Jordan Mason. What a weapon down the stretch. Errol Tolbert says, good morning, fellas. Good morning, Errol. Chris Tallarico says, if they win the Super Bowl, every player over 30 will be on retirement watch. They will have the money to do both, but they'll probably just extend Chase because that's what this team does. We'll see, man. If Chris Kasarik is yelling at them already about effort, they may not. They let Arden Key go. I think they understand that these guys are replaceable, and this is a destination for these.
Cleveland Farrell was a high pick guy. Arden Key was a high pick guy. Like, he doesn't, like, this is just what we do.
Yeah. Maynard Keenan says BA won't be used enough to justify the money. They should change that. Again, change your identity. You don't have to be the run first defense team that you were with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the kind of stuff you do when you don't have the real deal at quarterback, which you do now. And the weapons. Commit to it. Commit to it.